Filmmaker Mike Bennett and Brayden Olson openly discuss their journey together, forming a deeply moving portrait of Brayden's path to finding his father. The following conversation is an audio journal of their experiences. We hope you enjoy.
Okay. All right. Oh, hello. I'll be your host today. Okay, so let's get into it because there's a lot to unpack today. We've just been on the road for 2 weeks and we're finally back in New York, and a lot happened while we were away. So yeah, let's get into it and unpack it all. All right. So for this episode, we went to Joshua Tree and then Palm Springs to interview your aunt and uncle, who were the last people on your mother's side that had met Carlos, 35 years ago and had dinner with him at your mum and his engagement dinner.
Which, did you know that? I didn't know that was their engagement dinner.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Where should we start? We met each other in Palm Springs.
Got to the airport. Yeah,
it was late at night. We've been flying all day and
didn't get upgraded.
Didn't get upgraded on this trip. That wasn't a good start. And then you had decided to
rented a car.
You rented a vintage Mercedes. What kind of Mercedes was it?
A 1979 580 SL.
Yeah.
Or no, 86, 88. I don't know. Cherry red, drop top.
Yeah,
convertible.
It was a beautiful car, but
it didn't hold any of our...
So I've turned up...
It had a big trunk.
Yeah, thought it had a big trunk. But so I turned up with all the camera gear and nothing fit in. So that wasn't a good start. Not even our personal luggage. We couldn't fit anything in this car. So instantly we had to hire another car. And then we kind of carpooled out to Joshua Tree. You'd rented a place in the desert there.
Which didn't know that it would be... so we land at like 9:30. By the time we're out of the airport, it's 10:30, whatever. It's late. It's an hour drive into the middle of nowhere, and we kind of got lost.
Yeah, we get
dirt roads, and
there's no real road.
Sketchy. The car should not be in the sand, but we got there.
Yeah. So we finally found this place in the desert, and we wake up in the morning, and it's pretty cool. It's got a pool. It's got a sauna.
A pool. It was like a
plunge pool. But anyway, it was cool. It was and so we'd gone out to the desert and we thought, okay, let's do some kind of like experimental filming while we're out in the desert before we go interview your aunt and uncle in Palm Springs. So yeah, we tried a bunch of things and it was fun. Like we got you a little outfit, like an alter ego outfit. You kind of...
I got a suit.
Yeah, you got this like...
Sure. For like $8.
Yeah. And then we had you kind of ripping around the desert in this vintage car, and it had like a Thelma and Louise kind of vibe to it. It was fun. And so we got up really early one morning and we wanted to get a bunch of shots at dawn, and it was the longest solar eclipse since the 1400s. So we had this incredible sunrise with an eclipse happening at the same time, while Brayden's dressed in this really wild suit, and then he's got this vintage cherry red Mercedes he's ripping in. So yeah, that was kind of fun.
Yeah, just interesting.
Yeah, it was cool. Anyway, so then we left Joshua Tree after a few days.
To drop the car back off.
Oh my God.
And I had to clean it because there was just sand everywhere in it.
Mind you, like you've been doing like donuts in this thing.
Yeah.
Ripping.
Yeah.
Like,
and then I realized when I was cleaning it, it said, please do not... It said, well, it didn't say please. It says, do not take this car off-road.
At all.
Crazy. I was so scared to return it, and apparently I cleaned it good enough. He didn't know if he sees this.
Yeah, until he hears this. So then, we went to Palm Springs, and we were kind of going there for like an early Thanksgiving dinner with your aunt and uncle, and you also had like a bunch of cousins and stuff there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we told them that we wanted to interview your aunt and uncle because they'd been at this engagement dinner like 35 years ago, and they'd met Carlos once.
Yeah, and I've never talked to my aunt and uncle about this ever.
Yeah,
because I've just never talked about Carlos to them, or I didn't know how to bring up like, hey, do you guys want to talk about this? Because we just never talked about it. So I was surprised that they were so forward and talked about it, and they were actually very supportive, which was, I guess, not surprising, but I wasn't expecting that. I guess I was expecting the worst.
Right.
We'd go out there and not get anything, and then Mikey would be pissed. But, once again, I made it happen.
Okay. Well, so yeah, they had this pretty cool mid-century house in Palm Springs. And we sat down before we had our Thanksgiving dinner, and we sat down next to the pool, and you just said, "Hey, what do you remember about meeting Carlos?"
Mm-hmm.
And they had kind of a lot to say, actually.
Maybe insert it right now.
So we can play that right now.
I never knew they were engaged until like a few weeks ago. I never knew that. I just thought they were. Yeah, I never knew it. I never knew.
Dinner.
So,
we were at the engagement dinner.
So all I remember about him was that we were out in Maltby at your grandparents' place,
yeah.
and Art pulled up with him, and when he came in the house, my first impression was that he was a total player. I mean, like shirt and button down to his navel.
Unbuttoned.
Unbuttoned. All the way down. Gold
Even
chains.
at the restaurant also.
Just a total player. So then I started talking to him. I thought, wow, he's actually pretty nice. When I started talking to him, he was pretty talkative. Said I think he would be. Because I think he was working on a cruise ship at that time.
He was, yeah. They both were. Mm-hmm. They were both working on
So, I don't know. I said, so what do you do for money? That's what I wanted to know, because I thought he was like a drug dealer or something. I didn't know what he was, so...
Not that we would say that Bart, yeah.
Yeah, it was my first impression. He was just not... I don't know,
He didn't come across as very sincere.
Yeah. I mean, I just watched some of the footage and kind of how you described him. Charismatic, but also, like, I guess they didn't know if he was like a drug dealer or how he made money, because he had like lots of gold chains and wasn't really wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah, he had his shirt completely unbuttoned down to like
Gold
the last
chains
button.
and like a little afro thing.
They said he was good looking, charismatic,
But they were
nice.
concerned a bit.
But your uncle said, my initial reaction was, this guy's a total player. I'm trying to think what other details they had. It was all stuff we kind of heard before. There was a lot of stuff.
That made him again. He basically said, get an abortion, and if you do, then I'll marry you and we'll have a kid later. And basically my aunt and uncle were like, you can't get an abortion. Like, you should keep.
Yeah. I mean,
have me, basically.
Yeah. And I guess the biggest takeaway from all this was that we were trying to establish, did Carlos know he had a son? Like, to prove it beyond reasonable doubt. And yeah, I guess we walked away from that knowing that he 100% knew that he had a son and that your mom was going to have you, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of filled in that gap. And then they were the last people from your mother's side of the family that we talked to. And we've now talked to everyone. So there's literally no one left to ask any more questions. So that was pretty big.
So I guess it answers the question of, does he know that he has a kid out there? And I think he knows that my mom had a kid. I don't know. It's still unresolved for me. He's got to know.
Well, I mean, your aunt and uncle said he definitely 100% knows that he had a child.
He must know. It would be pretty insane for him not to know. It's just crazy that you would deny it so hard.
Yeah, it is crazy. And so I guess we can get into that a bit more about the denial thing. So after Palm Springs, that's a pretty big conversation that Brayden has with his aunt and uncle. And it goes pretty well, and they are very supportive, and they're like, continue on this journey. We think it's great that you're kind of doing this. And you and your fiance Allison decide to hop in the car and drive to Utah to have Thanksgiving with her parents. And I get left behind again, so that's always good. Some reason Brayden gives me dates, and then like last minute he just changes them, and then I somehow get stuck in city. So I end up stuck in Palm Springs for a weekend, which is fine. If you've been to Palm Springs, it's a large gay community and lots of rich old people. Just basically sat in my hotel for 2 days, and I just went through the footage that we shot.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect. And then I hopped on a plane, and I actually flew to Florida. This was the week of Thanksgiving. So I had Thanksgiving there with some friends, and then I called the market where Carlos has one of his businesses beforehand, and I'd asked them would they be open for the weekend after Thanksgiving, and they said, yeah, we're going to be back open. So I'd kind of decided that I would go by myself and just kind of check in with Carlos again, because I hadn't seen him or spoken to him in probably 6 months. On the Saturday morning, I got up and I drove out with my girlfriend, actually. And
wow, she's your girlfriend now. Since we started this is also
a lot of
a
things have
storyline.
happened. Yeah, that could be another.
When we
documentary.
started, there was I won't get into it, but
Oh my God, shut up. I drive out with my girlfriend to this market to see if I can check in with Carlos again. And
with a camera?
with a small little handy cam that's like palm size. So it's very kind of DIY.
I just think it's so weird that he doesn't ask you why you always have a camera when you show up.
Well, initially he thought I was filming him obviously for his crystals. And then the kind of story became more about him and just him being on camera. And now whenever he sees me with a camera, he just assumes, I don't know, it's part of a larger picture about him, but he doesn't realize that it really is a big picture about him. So anyway, I turn up and instantly he sees me and he's like, "Oh my God, what's up?" And I'm like, I'm a little taken back. I'm like, "Oh my God, we're like in friend zone now, big time. We're like buddies."
Did he give you a hug?
Yeah, big hug. How you been? Haven't seen you for a while. He's wearing this crazy outfit. It's like big red Tibetan pants and big red shirt, and he looks insane. I'm sitting with him inside his business place. There's crystals and shit all around me, and I'm filming and talking to him. And then he asks, we speak for a long time, probably 45 minutes, and then he asks if I like smoking weed or if I'd like to buy any weed or something. And I'm like,
you don't look like a pothead.
Yeah, and then I'm like, oh yeah, if there's something going around, but I don't really need weed right now. And he's like, what about mushrooms? And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, kind of sound a little bit interested. And then he says, well, I could sell you 10 grams. And I was like, 10 grams seems like a lot. And he's like, yeah, I don't really fuck around with like small quantities. And I'm kind of going, okay, well, maybe I could just get like 2 grams off you and test it first.
So this is one of the things that we don't have to get too deep into this, but
yeah, I don't think it matters.
We were suspicious of his lifestyle that he talks about. I mean, how much money can these crystal shops
I will
make?
Yeah, I will insert that he talks about money for probably 50% of our conversations. It's always something to do with money, like making money or the government taking money off him, how rich he is. He always says the word millionaire, which I find funny. And then he always tells me that he's got enough money to live off for 30 years without working. If he was to stop work tomorrow. Then I'm like, well, dude, why are you working?
Yeah, in the shop.
Why are you working?
And that's probably a lie.
So anyway, I go there, I meet up with him. He recognizes me. We have a long conversation. I film him. We decide to do a deal where I'm going to buy mushrooms off him. So then I'm like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And I leave, and I'd also planned to go to he's got 2 business addresses in Florida, and I decided to go to the other one because he'd told me that his partner that he's been with for probably since he ran off from your mom, she runs the other business.
And you don't remember her name?
No, I don't remember her name. So I drive out to this other business and I turn up and I've got my crystal on that he'd given me, and I bought another crystal necklace for my girlfriend, so we look like we're totally into crystals.
Did he give you a good deal?
No, he ripped me off. Like, he actually did rip me off. I saw the price of the necklace that I bought in his other store, and it was like a lot cheaper. So anyway, I'll get him back at some point. So I go to his other business address. There's a woman there. I don't know how old she is. I'm going to say she's like 60. Start talking to her and I say, oh, I bought a necklace from Carlos here before. He's really nice. And she says, oh, well, I'm Carlos's partner. And then I'm like, wow. So then I start kind of, oh, how long you been together for? Where'd you meet? And she said, oh, we met on a cruise ship in Hawaii 35 years ago. So I'm like,
so that is the perfect timeline of me.
Yeah. So we can play that right now.
But we worked on ships for a long time. We met on a cruise ship
Oh, really? Where?
in Hawaii.
In Hawaii? Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Did you work on the cruise ship?
I'm sorry?
Did you work on the cruise ship?
Yes. We both worked on the cruise ships.
That's so I want to find out her name and ask my mom if she knows her.
Yeah, I feel like there's either he was with both women around the same time.
I'm sure they had to have met.
And then when your mum got pregnant and he disappeared, he ran off with this other woman.
Mm-hmm.
But she also said she worked on cruise ships. So either they worked on the same ship, and your mum must definitely know who she is. And then I guess he's been with this woman ever since. They've never had children.
They've never, I don't think, gotten officially married because I've gotten background checks on her and they don't have the same last name.
Right.
It doesn't say spouse. It just says like related.
Yeah. This also fills in the blanks of like our timeline. So we're kind of like,
And to know that she also says they didn't have kids.
yeah.
Because I always thought I had brothers and sisters that I
Right.
never met, but that's not true.
She also talks about going to Brazil with Carlos. She said they were like gypsies and they would travel around the world. They would buy these like open airline tickets where you kind of like get off and get on whenever you wanted. And she's actually really sweet, and she's really into my girlfriend and I. She just wants to hang and chat. And okay, the weirdest thing for me is she kind of looks like your mom,
That's weird.
like very similar, which is very strange. And I think she said she was from South Carolina. So she's got this kind of like South Carolina accent, which is kind of cool. Oh, I will insert that when I was with Carlos earlier in the morning, he, again, without me even saying anything, said that he's never had children. He said scientifically it's proven that if you have kids that you don't live as long, and like,
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
yeah,
Well, you didn't tell me that.
no, I mean, I can play the soundbite, but yeah,
Maybe insert it right now.
yeah, so we can play that right now.
Never had. You know why I never had kids? I never got married either. I've been single forever. Because kids age you. Make you old. Scientifically, you know.
Right.
If you talk to the scientists, kids make you old. You know, they fucking eat your life away.
But you have a young spirit.
Yeah, that's why I have no kids, and don't call me grandpa. No, I don't have kids.
Right.
Father, I have no kids. I don't want to have kids.
And he's also like, he told me he took a Xanax in the morning. He's kind of out of it. Like he goes in and out of like paying attention to you.
I can relate.
Yeah. He's also got this like scales in his little crystal store that he loves. Like he loves weighing crystals and then like kind of pulls a number out of the hat and tells people how much the crystal's worth. I swear to God, he's just making numbers up. But he seems to be selling a lot of crystals there. There's a lot of people in there searching for the perfect rock. I don't know. That was like a pretty big day. I was going just to check in with Carlos, and then I end up like having this really long conversation with him. And then I go to his other business and I meet his partner of 35 years, which she says that she met him in Hawaii on a cruise ship. So, that fills in our timeline that he must have run off with this woman straight after he got your mum pregnant. But we still don't have DNA proof. I'll say that. Everything in our timeline and all the research we've been doing and all the interviews, I would say we're 99% sure that Carlos is your father.
We, though, kind of do have DNA proof.
So then, yeah, the next day, you can tell it.
Yeah, I was fucking around I wanted to try and find if there's other people I'm related to through 23andMe and Ancestry.com. So I go on 23andMe and, I'm like getting matched with these people that are in Rio, that are in Florida, that I'm like second cousins or maybe third cousins. Like we share a great grandparent and I'm related to them. Like we share DNA. And so I'm like trying to figure out, like kind of stalk them and see if I could get back to Carlos through them, through their Facebook, through snooping around, but I can't really. So then I go to Ancestry and I get some suggestions there. One of them is my mom. Hey, is this your mother? Because my mother is on Ancestry. And, you share half of your DNA is from them. And then there's one that says Carlos. So I haven't logged in forever. So at some point he did an Ancestry.com test and I come up as matching with him.
You get 100% man.
No, it's 50%. Because it's 50% your mom, 50% your dad.
But it basically says Carl
99.9% sure that this is your father.
It says parent,
but he hasn't logged in since over a year ago. So
it was even longer. I thought it was like 2017.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Or maybe the account was created then, but he hasn't logged in if it's over a year, it could be since it just says over a year. So it could be 5 years, 3 years, whatever. He probably has never logged in. He probably submitted it. Basically, if he logs in, it's going to show 100% that he has a kid with her name, same, like.
Yeah, with your mom as the half. Yeah. So I mean, the craziest thing for me is for this guy who constantly denies having a child, like every time I meet him. In 2017, he signs up to Ancestry.com, provides his DNA to this service. And
around that time, my mom was sending photos of me to him.
Yeah. So your mom in 2017 and you went to Hawaii, I think, on a holiday. And so we kind of put it together, like, why would he have just gone and done a DNA test randomly in 2017? And that was when we think Brayden's mother sent a picture of him and her in Hawaii together to him. So
Probably with a love note or something.
yeah, so like, and she talked about sending him images around that time. So maybe he got this image of you and went, is this really my son? And then he's gone and done a DNA test.
But hasn't checked as far as I know. And I didn't accept I just left it. Like I didn't I didn't add him to my family tree just because.
Right. So we were fretting, like, in the last episode when we were on the podcast, we're like, we don't have DNA proof. Like, do I take a hair off his head? No, that's illegal. Do I steal his cup and try test his cup that he's drinking water out of or something? And, you know, we're kind of at a bit of a dead end. And then without us even doing anything, Carlos himself has given us 100% DNA proof. So we now know that not only does our timeline add up, also we have DNA evidence that is your father. So it's crazy.
Yeah, and who knows when he'll log. I mean, I could check right now and see if he's logged in.
Right. I mean, I was shocked when I got the screenshot, and I'm about to drive out to see Carlos again and buy mushrooms off him. And then Brayden calls me and sends me a screenshot of this Ancestry.com match that says Carlos Ferreira, 100% parent and child DNA match. So I'm like, holy shit, that's it. Like, that's the proof. So there's some pretty big things are happening, and like that happened without us even trying to do anything.
So let's see what it says.
So yeah, basically next time, if Carlos ever logs back into Ancestry.com, he'll know 100% that he has a son.
We'll say this website's not very easy to use.
Yeah, that's why Carlos probably can't use.
I mean, all right, right here. So look.
Wow.
He doesn't have any trees.
Oh yeah, insert Carlos hasn't put his family tree or attached his family tree.
That's where it is. And then there's my mom there. See?
Wow.
Parent, child. So if I go to his thing, it says, so I can click this and contact him, which is just wild.
No, don't click that.
I'm not going to, but it's just kind of scary. So last signed in over a year ago. And look, that's the only evidence I have. My initials and his initials.
Yeah.
And did you know this? Our ethnicity, I'm 18, he's 18% Southern Italian, which is kind of a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. So you're Portuguese,
Italian, Southern Italian, and then 16% Cameroon, Congo, and Western Bantu peoples, Spain, Levant, and then very small traces of Scottish, South American, whatever. But
wow, you're like a
European Jewish. That's probably where it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, he's vast. Wow, serious mix here.
So pretty cool.
Yeah, really cool.
So anyway, that's the only time I've seen my name next to him and have it say parent-child ever in my whole life.
Yeah. And like, what did it feel like to know that now you have DNA proof that is your actual father?
It feels crazy. It feels like, okay, what do we do now?
And so I guess, after going on this crazy journey, like, it is, what do we do now? It's kind of, I don't really know. I mean, obviously I want you to meet him and you probably want to meet him.
I'm scared though.
Yeah. I just don't, he's such a crazy dude. So now that I know he went and did a DNA test in 2017, it makes me think that he definitely has seen a photo of you, so he knows what you look like. So if you were to approach him, he'd be like, okay,
maybe he's just waiting.
Maybe. So I get this information. I'm in Florida and Brayden calls me, tells me that he's got this Ancestry.com report that gives us 100% proof that Carlos is his father. Okay, I'll play the clips.
Michelle.
Yo, dude, so insane.
Yeah,
crazy
right?
that he did it.
It says that he joined in like 2017. He's been a member since then, but he hasn't logged in over a year. But last time I logged in, this information wasn't there. But that's all it says. But it says it's 100% match. We have a fit. Like
it's like it's the proof. I mean, it's no different than getting a hair off his head. It's like, that's it. It's done.
Yeah.
Like,
the weird thing is he would know then, because when I logged in, I didn't ask to look for him. It connected me to my mom and me to my dad without me asking. So
this has never popped up before today. Like, it just literally popped up.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So if he logs in, like, he definitely knows that my mom has a kid and that he shares the DNA with me. You know what I mean?
But he actually gave his DNA to Ancestry.com, and it randomly matched it with yours and was like, oh, this is 100% match.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
I find it so weird that he like is preaching he's never had children, and then he goes and does a DNA test.
Yeah, then he doesn't share anything, which is weird. Like, he doesn't have a family tree or anything like that.
Dude, it's crazy that he did that. I don't know. I just never see him doing a DNA test. That just blows my mind.
He hasn't logged in since last year. I wasn't a member maybe when he was on, so if he happens to log in now, it's going to say that I'm a kid, but my DNA wasn't in there a year ago.
Anyway, I'm going to buy some mushrooms off him in about 20 minutes.
Okay, cool.
I've got to drive out again to meet Carlos to buy these mushrooms that he wanted to sell me. So I'm like, oh shit, I have to do it. So I drive back out there and meet him, and he's like totally out of it today. Like I don't know what's going on. I don't know, he's super stoned or popped too many fucking happy pills in the morning. He kind of like doesn't even bring up the mushrooms things, and he just wants me to sit with him in this like tiny little crystal store that he has. And it's so weird. He's like, oh, I like your energy. I like hanging out with you. And I'm just going, what the fuck is happening? And I'm also processing this information that Brayden's given me just before. So yeah, I sit there for about 45 minutes, and I'm also with my girlfriend again, and she's just like rolling her eyes like, why are we sitting here? Like, can we leave? If he's not going to sell us mushrooms, let's go. So I end up saying, okay, man, I think we're good for today. And like, we're going to leave. And then there's a few customers around. So he's like,
which is just so weird. You're just sitting in this shop.
Oh my, like sitting down, like we're sitting right now doing the podcast, like just sitting with him.
Bizarre.
It was so bizarre. Anyway, so
you love it in there.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I've definitely learned a lot about crystals and the people who buy them. Holy shit. So I leave, and then I'm kind of done. I'm like, I go back, and it's also Art Basil's starting in Miami, so it's fucking so busy there, and I'm like ready to get the fuck out of there. I've also been on the road for 2 weeks, so yeah. So we find out all this information, and I wrap it up, and I head back to New York, and that's that really. You want to go to Brazil, right?
I want to go to Rio, but I want to find someone there that I'm related to.
But I mean, on your 23andMe and your Ancestry.com,
there's people.
There's lots. There's like first cousins in Rio.
So, yeah, let me see. Like, I would want to contact some of these people and go to Rio and just say, hey, this is really random, but kind of going to Rio to explore my roots, or saying something fucking stupid like that.
Well,
and then just say, hey, it'd be really cool if we could meet up. And then maybe that evolves into, do you know Carlos?
Yeah. And I will insert here that we did from your mother. Your mother said that Carlos's father, when he was growing up, ran off. So Carlos didn't actually meet his own father till he was like an adult, I think.
Wow.
So, he's kind of gone and done the same thing that was done to him. But I guess
I'll do the same thing to my child. God willing.
Oh my God. That is so fucked. No, you won't. You'd be a great father. Brayden has a great outfit on today, I will say that. I'm digging it. Initially, we wanted to go to Brazil because, one, it's like a big part of your roots.
I've heard about Rio since a kid.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be really cool to go and, yeah, like try and find someone, that's I'm related to.
But now that we know that
But this is where I need you to tell Carlos, hey, I'm going to Rio. You got any suggestions of places to go?
So I said to him, you did say that to me, and I did actually approach him, and I said, oh, I really want to go to Brazil. Should I go for Carnival or something? Because Carnival's like next month or in a couple of months. And he's like, oh, I try to go where no one is now. When I go to Brazil, I'm chilling. My Carnival days are over. Like, you just don't sleep for a week. So I don't know. I don't know if we go to Brazil and try and meet some relatives before you approach.
Yeah, I have first cousins,
or after that. Like, one translate. Do we meet Carlos before we go to Brazil, or do we go to Brazil first and then try meeting?
I think we go there first. We're gonna need to somehow.
Well, I mean, Carlos I know his brother and his sister live in Rio.
Really?
Yeah,
that are still alive.
Still alive.
Okay, well, they're not on here, so we need. So
you have an uncle and auntie that live in Rio.
So that we need to basically try and find.
Yeah. Who I'm sure have kids. So, like, you've got, like, cousins definitely in Rio.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we could go to Brazil and try meet them and connect with them. Or we could somehow approach Carlos, which I'm I don't know if the timing's right.
I'm okay. This might be irrational, but I'm scared to go and meet him and then say I'm going to Brazil because I don't want his family to like kidnap me or kill me if they're like gnarly.
No one's getting kidnapped or killed.
I don't know. I mean, it could turn into a murder podcast.
Oh
real
my
quick.
God. I mean, we did talk about hog tying Carlos, and then
But I'm serious. Just like, what if he? I don't know. He seems there's something off. Where I'm like, I don't know. He kind of scares me a little bit. I don't want to go to another country and be abducted or something.
Yeah, there is someone
meet up
with him
for him to be like, stay away. I don't know.
I don't know either. So we've found out so much over this year, and now we're kind of at the point where we have to face confronting Carlos.
We need to confront him. We also need to find out if you could find out his brother or sister's name, or I don't know how the hell you do that though.
I mean, or do I approach his wife or his partner,
or that?
Say, hey, I'm not who you think I am. I'm actually making a documentary on your partner's son that he's denied having. What do you think I should do here? She's like really sweet. I nearly think you could approach her.
Yeah.
I don't think she would like run for the hills kind of thing.
They can't. They have their business. Yeah, they have tied up
2 businesses. It's not like,
even if they did run it, I don't know like how to approach it at all.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think like if someone did this to me, I would kind of want them to come to me, not someone else,
Yeah, and I also don't know if we went to Brazil, if that would piss him off. If his brother calls him and goes, your son just turned up my doorstep, would that make him angry? Or would that make him intrigued that you went all the way to Brazil to meet, you're on this journey to search for him? I don't know. Maybe you find that.
I think that would be more fun.
I mean, we're going to Brazil. Like, let's just
I think even just to go there and try and figure out where he grew up and figure out what his dad did. There's just a lot of questions like that we could just ask him, I guess. But it just seems
every time I've met him, he's denied having children.
Sure, but he has one.
I know. Now we have DNA proof that he's.
I guess I just want to know more about his family, and then maybe meet totally and then I guess this whole journey's over.
Who knows, man?
I don't know. We could make up some weird story
that I got contacted by his son.
I don't know. No, I don't know. I think he just spilled the beans and just. I think. Oh God. I don't know. Okay, I can't think about this, but
I don't mind the option of approaching his partner. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if I can just straight up approach him. I think I would. I mean, I don't know. That's what people do though. They just go and say, "Hey, you're my dad," or "You're my mom." Deal with it.
Also, this has happened.
I feel like I might faint.
Yeah, I mean, I'll faint too. I'm meant to be holding the camera. I don't know, man. We got to think about it. We're at that point now where we.
The other thing is, you can cut this out. I wanted to ask people like put this out, but we can't put it out because people are going to contact him and tell him because they know where he works and stuff.
Right. All right. Well, let's leave it there. We'll wrap it up there, and we're going to sit down and just figure out what to do next because we're getting pretty close to the finale, I guess, or not.
All right.
Catch you later.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to jail later.